Welcome back to 10 at 10. My name is Michael Ramage. I'm the director of the Cyber Education Research Center here at Murray State University. And welcome back to 10 at 10. 10 at 10 is brought to you through a partnership between Murray State University, Grow West, the Technology Council of West Kentucky, KY Innovation, and our local partner, Sprocket Innovation in Paducah, and the Kentucky Innovation Station in Madisonville. This week is episode 125. We are getting back to our discussion about the simple things that your organization can do to protect your organization from cybersecurity risk. Doesn't mean you're going to stop them all, but it certainly can take steps to help prevent those cyber attacks from being successful. So we talked about um, policy a few weeks ago. We talked about passwords and multi-factor authentication a few weeks ago as well. And last week we took the week off and we actually talked about mobile device security because there were some timely things going on in the news, and I wanted to make sure we addressed that. This week we're getting back to it, and specifically this week we're looking at security awareness. Security awareness training is something that every organization should do, and in many cases, it is something that cyber insurance providers expect you and even some require you to do. So let's talk about what that means a little bit. If you think about, I remember when I first 20 some odd years ago started talking about security awareness education and training, that there was always a misunderstanding of, is that awareness? Is that a training program? Is that education? And pretty quickly there became an alignment of these are three different types of things with three different goals. Awareness has a goal, training has a goal, and education has a goal. And for the purposes of what we're talking about, we are only talking about the awareness piece. So we're talking about the what, what is it that we're talking about? Talking about security. We're talking about from a recognition standpoint. For example, if you get a phishing email, I don't expect somebody to be able to understand and synthesize where the email came from or what's intended to go. If you click the link, this is the payload and this is what happens, and all of those pieces. I don't care about our employees necessarily understanding all of those things, but we do hope that they can recognize that. So it's really at an information level. And from an awareness standpoint, if you're doing awareness training, that time frame for that knowledge is really short term. It's not something that you're going to teach them and they're going to keep hold on to it for 30 years. It's not like we're doing our multiplication tables and once we know them we'll have it forever. It's pretty short term. So we want to make sure that this is a regular thing, and we'll get into that in just a second. So that's what we're talking about when you hear somebody talk about security awareness training or security awareness activities within an organization. We're talking about the column that's highlighted here, not training elements and not education elements. From an academic, educational, pedagogical standpoint, those are different things than the security piece that we're talking about or the security awareness that we're talking about today. So, and I even just contradicted myself and put awareness training tips in the heading. But there are 6 tips that I think this came from EC Council that they talked about when your organization starts a security awareness program across your organization. Here are 6 things to keep in mind, 6 tips to make it better, if you will. First of all, involve every level. There is a component of cybersecurity awareness that every employee in the organization needs to have, from the the chief information and chief executive officer down to the janitor and the admin assistant. Everybody in between has a role to play in cybersecurity. Every person is seeing different types, but seeing security threats and potential attacks. If they're the janitor emptying the trash, is there information in there that should have been shredded? Is somebody going to do a dumpster dive to gain information? If it's the CEO's email address is really valuable because you can fake emails, do some spear phishing things. There's a lot their names in the news the most, so their accounts are going to be more advantageous. So there's challenges there. Training, any awareness activities should be an ongoing process. So many organizations will offer security awareness events and activities, and maybe there's a course they have to go through, and then they check the box. Oh, we've done it. We're done. It's over. We don't have to do this anymore. That's not the way that it works. It's something that we need to do at a bare minimum on an annual basis. It's recommended to do it on a quarterly, in some cases, even a monthly basis. And so it really needs to be an ongoing piece. And the reason for that is that the threat is ever changing. For example, if you took well, I'll give you a great example. I teach a course in the spring semester. When we created our syllabus for the spring course, ChatGPT was not a thing. It quickly became a thing, and people could use that to generate content. So technically, it wasn't a thing when we created. It wasn't even a concept that we had. Well, when we do the next syllabus, it's going to be updated to make sure that AI is better spelled out what's allowed and not allowed in that. Same thing's true with cyber threats. The threat is changing, so we want to make sure that we address those things. Your program should at least cover the basics. Passwords, phishing, social engineering. Those are the things that every person in your organization are going to face. Having strong passwords, being concerned about phishing emails, text, and social engineering. Maybe that's an email, maybe that's over the phone. But those pieces are things that we're all going to be need to be aware of. And then this is the part that nobody likes. We've got to have some sort of testing after the training. Now, how does that look? That's a good question. Is it a multiple choice question at the end of each module or at the end of the course? Maybe it is. Is it a phishing attempt that you send out to the entire organization? Maybe it is. Is it both? That could be as well. But there has to be some sort of accountability to making sure that people are taking their training and that they're taking it serious, because this is an important piece. And part of the way that you do that is the next item is number 5 is communication. We need to make sure that we're communicating with our team. Why is this important? Why are you making me do this? Why does this matter? It really does matter. And we got to make sure that we're doing this in a way that is uh, transparent. That's a word that's overused quite a bit, but we want to make sure that it's transparent. And so here's some communication on why this is so important. And then finally, if we can gamify it, even better. I know one organization recently shared at a conference that they have a scoreboard of sorts that they let the whole company know. We just went through our latest round of phishing tests, and 3% of the employees didn't pass. 3% clicked on the link. They don't say that you did it or I did it, but they'll say 3%. Well, if you're part of that 3%, then there's a little bit of, well, I can do better and I don't want to be part of that. There's rewards that you can give out. If you take your test on the first try and you get all the answers right, here's a reward. If somebody, does a spot check and you pass, here's a reward. If you complete your year with no clicks, then maybe you get something. There's a lot of things that we can do, but gamifying it is certainly something that can be helpful in that. And let me finish by highlighting why this is important. And this is a slide that you've probably seen before. I've shared it before from the SANS Institute. And the reason that this is important is if you look back over the last 20 years, Windows has taken steps nearly every year to make their operating system stronger and more secure. Most applications most operating systems, you can find a similar line that here's all the things that they've done to make their program, their application stronger. Really and truly, the way we handle the human operating system, our individuals, our staff, our employees, really has not changed that much in the last 20 years. Okay, we've added two-factor authentication, we've added password requirements, but by and large, we haven't changed that. So there's a large gap between those security pieces, and we want to make sure that we're prioritizing the human element of our organizations to make sure that we're protecting them as well. That's why we're talking about security awareness training. That's why we're talking about the human element, our employees, making sure that our employees are part of our security team. Hope that makes sense. We went a little bit long today. I apologize for that. Thank you very much for your time. And I will see you next week back here on 10 at 10. Thank you. Bye.